Mr. Speaker, I rise this morning to provide this honorable House and the public with an update on roadside sobriety checks. The public will be notably aware that the Bermuda Police Service ongoing weekend presence at strategic locations in the central parishes. Since its launch in mid-September, the Bermuda Police Service has carried out roadside sobriety checks on 11 occasions. Mr. Speaker, sobriety checkpoints locations have included Red Hole in Paget, Middle Road locations in Devonshire and in Paget, North Shore Road locations in Devonshire and in Pembroke, Crow Lane in Paget, South Roundabout in Paget, Marsh Folly Road in Devonshire, Palmetto Road in Devonshire, Roll Hill Road in Paget, Admiralty House in Pembroke. Mr. Speaker, the locations of the checkpoints are strategic and designed so that they are not easily avoidable. A location falls within the parishes authorized by the senior magistrate and published in the Gazette, in the official Gazette. It is decided by the participating officers. These checkpoints differ from many other police road operations, as each vehicle that comes upon the checkpoint checkpoint location is stopped. The Bermuda Police Service estimates that as many as 100 vehicles are stopped per location. It is very likely that even some honorable members have been stopped at these checkpoints as they are traveling along Bermuda's roads on weekends and evenings and late into the night. Mr. Speaker, carrying out road sobriety checkpoints is resource intensive for the Bermuda Police Service. Each checkpoint is manned by 8 to 14 officers, and there is sometimes more than one active checkpoint at a time. There have been officers dedicated from the Road Policing Unit, the Marine Unit, supported by reserve police personnel, and they all have been used to carry out the roadside sobriety checks. At each roadside sobriety checkpoint, there are officers performing in the role as the assessing officer. These officers will ask the stopped motorist where he or she has been traveling from. The motorist will be asked if he or she had consumed any alcohol. The assessing officer will also be determining if the motorist has any physical cues of alcohol consumption, such as slurred speech, glazed eyes, or the smell of intoxicants on their breath. Where any of these elements are present, the driver admits alcohol consumption. The motorist is then sent to a secondary officer. The secondary officer will perform a series of field tests that could include a demand for breath on the side of the road by a roadside sobriety testing device. To date, Mr. Speaker, 49 people have failed testing at the roadside sobriety testing device and have been arrested as a result. Each of those individuals have been transferred to the police station and given the opportunity to take the alcohol analyzer test. All of those tested have failed. Several have refused and have refused the additional test. All of the 49 arrested individuals were charged and are currently being processed through the courts. Some of these individuals have already had court appearances, and as the public will know from the media, that some have pled guilty, while others have given a not guilty plea and have elected to go to trial. Mr. Speaker, it should be noted that the Roadside Sobriety Checkpoints initiative has likely influenced an uptick in the amount of impaired driving arrests in 2018. Since January 1st, 2018, there have been 243 arrests. In the same period last year, Mr. Speaker, there were only 144 arrests. Mr. Speaker, the age of those arrested at the checkpoints has ranged from 20 to 65. 71% or 35% of those arrested have been Bermudians, along with several guest workers and visitors. At 85% or 42 persons, the overwhelming majority of those who have failed the roadside sobriety consequently arrested are men. This is particularly concerning as men are the most likely to be the victims of severe fatal road collisions. Mr. Speaker, I am aware that these checkpoints may be considered intrusive and bothersome by some members of the public. However, in a country where the leading causes of premature death are road accidents, these checkpoints are a necessary inconvenience. I am hopeful that their continuance will lead to shift in how Bermudians' thought patterns and behavior patterns are to drink driving culture. If roadside sobriety checkpoints initiative will stop just one person per weekend from driving or operating a vehicle while under the influence of alcohol, I believe that the road sobriety checkpoints are worth the inconvenience. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.